Hey everybody, it's Captain Kyle and I'm going to go over my top 5 G1 Autobots. Now, everybody has their favorites and there's a lot of favorites in G1, but these are my particular favorites. Might be quite a bit different than yours, but mine, some of them have sentimental reasons. Some of them are just my preference, but I'm going to go through them and please let me know in the comments what your top 5 are. Be right back. All right, so I'm going to kind of do them in somewhat of an order, and so number 5 is actually Silverbolt. Now, Silverbolt is the leader of the Aerialbots, and you might be like, well, what do you mean Superion? I'm not using merged guys, because that's 5 guys right there, or 6, though not for Autobots. So I'm going with individual bots, and I always loved Silverbolt because he was a cool jet. I loved when he was introduced in the cartoon, and technically, that is what he's supposed to look like in robot mode. But I always take the Superion chest piece and attach it for his robot mode because that's what he looked like in the cartoon. But I always like the fact that he was kind of afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights. Don't use that against me. And he had the responsibility of being leader and just always did the right thing. I always wondered though, when he was flying through space and he was afraid of heights, was that even worse? Or was it like, I can't see the ground so we're good? I mean, in any direction. But he is a cool transformer. Now the posability on these guys, they're G1, so he could kind of kick forward, but not back, not really to the side. He has additional accessories, the fists, the feet, and a little lower shield, and the head of Superion, but I don't need to showcase those for this. And his arms could move. Now because I put this chest plate here, it keeps his arm from going all the way there, but I consider it worth the sacrifice. His head doesn't twist, there's no twisting at the waist, it's a G1. But still, I did really enjoy this guy. More because of the character, though the toy was also cool. I mean, there's other cool Aerialbots. Slingshot comes to mind. He had a friggin' grill of a Rolls Royce put on his chest, but still, Silverbolt was always my favorite of all the Aerialbots as far as the transformation was cool. Now, he also came with a ramp and became a base. I'm not going to show that because I never used it. So that's not part of what makes him one of my favorites. But he is a cool, I think it's a Concorde style jet. And just overall a very cool jet that you could fly. He has 2 non-retractable landing gear in the back. He has the retractable one up front. And he's just a cool toy. Now this guy is actually from a reissue counterfeit set. Because years ago, I made the decision that I wasn't going to really touch my G1 stuff, not in a pervy way or just not in a play way. And I needed some money, so I sold off the majority of my G1 and G2 and some Beast Wars, and I went crazy for a while. And I do regret selling them, though I do have friends that I can borrow bots, which I have before. My friends Tony and Rose at RetroCon being one constant source of these guys, but I do regret sometimes because I had so many European ones. I had some Japanese ones. It was quite the collection. Now you can also, for storage, you can put his gun into the chest shield, so just kind of keep things together. But that is, we'll call it number 5. Let's go with number 4. And again, these may surprise you, but I really like Override. He is a Triggerbot from the G1 continuity. Never appeared in the comic. I'm sorry, he never appeared in the cartoon. He did appear in the comic on a flashback mission of Optimus Prime, and it was him and Backstreet and Dogfight, and they faced off against Megatron and the 3 Triggercons, Crankcase, Ruckus, and Windsweeper, I believe. But I always liked this one. I mean, he changes into a motorcycle, but when you flick forward his weapons, which some of them had mechanisms and some of them just had springs, but first of all, for a fast draw, that is incredible. And secondly, it looks like he's actually holding guns. Some of the others had it come over, their shoulders and stuff like that, or under their arms. This guy I thought was the best of them and really cool. Now he does transform into a motorcycle, and he doesn't have a heck of a lot of posability. The arms move forward, so I didn't miss out on showing you much. But there he is as a motorcycle, and he's just a really cool looking motorcycle. Very patriotic looking. Red, white, and, well, silver, but still. Almost like he's a cousin of Optimus Prime with his colors. And again, the weapons came out very nicely. Now, I had actually sold my original. I have this one. There is a little bit of chromeware that I didn't touch up. I did get some pens with silver metallic paint and touched up a lot of it, but I can see a few spots that I missed. But still, very cool guy. I actually have a knockoff of him as well in orange and yellow, which I featured in another video. But yeah, Override, very cool. I know what you're waiting for, like Omega Supreme. Sorry, Omega, I really liked Omega. I had Omega, but Omega was not one of my favorites. Too much disassemble, reassemble. But my next one was actually later in the series. Not that the Triggerbots aren't later in the series. It was Getaway. Getaway is a Powermaster, and I just really like his design, both in car mode and in robot mode. He looks very cool. You can see this one's got a little bit of yellowing on him, but overall he is a very cool Autobot. Now, the Powermaster gimmick, you kind of need that in order to transform him. Rev, I believe, was his Powermaster partner. And without the engine in place, it kind of looks meh. Now this one, I did sell my original. Again, I don't know what I was thinking. Some of these guys I should have kept, especially some of the European Action Masters, but sold my original. I got this new one at a con sometime back. So he's a little yellowed. He's not in perfect shape. Little sticker wear and such, but he's still very cool. Posability, his legs, I mean, he can kneel down. He can be praying. Oh Primus, why hast thou forsaken me? The arms are they can go off to the side, or you can bend the elbow forward. You can bend the elbow backwards for that matter. The head doesn't turn. He does, though, actually twist at the waist, so you could give him a little bit of a thing. That's actually part of the transformation, and that came loose, which is good. So he doesn't look quite so bad without his Powermaster engine there. But yeah, he's a G1, but I always thought the transformation was clever, and I really liked his car mode. Just to show you what I'm talking about, let's get him into car mode. So there he is, a very cool race car. I can tell he's a race car because it says racing on the front there. But nice spoiler, kind of a muscle car type, I don't know what race he would be in, but definitely not the same kind that Mirage would be in. You could put his weapon on top, which I like that about some of the later G1 stuff, is there was some kind of weapon storage. To transform him back, you did need to put in his Powermaster engine, which would pop in right here. Though you didn't need to transform him when you put it in, you just needed him in order to do that little fold here, because that little latch. But yeah, Getaway, very cool. I do have the new Breakaway, who is supposed to be Getaway as a headmaster, but still, this G1 mold and just really cool looking car. One of my favorites. But wait, there's more. Now the reason this particular Autobot is one of my favorites, it is Beachcomr. And he is a favorite because he is the first Transformer I collected back in like 1985. I didn't start, stand up man, this is your time to shine. I didn't start collecting right away. I didn't become aware of Transformers right away, but then I went to the store, I saw this guy. And of the mini-bots, I have to say he is one of the best because his legs are actually two pieces. A lot of them are not. I mean, he could do a little kick up his leg as if he's getting kissed. Arms went all the way around, head didn't turn, but he was still a very cool looking toy to me for the size. And I did like him in the show. Transformation, it's a mini car. It's super simple, but a cool dune buggy with headlights and everything. Now this is an original, it's not a reissue counterfeit or anything like that, but I've always just liked Beachcomr as a toy, and his character was pretty cool. We won the Golden Lagoon. I could probably find a more minty one, and I will at some point, but definitely love Beachcomr. And now my number one. This is my favorite Transformer of all time, of the G1 Autobots. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present Tracks. Tracks is a stunning Autobot with an incredible auto mode and the ability to fly. So I've always liked Tracks because one, he could go from car to flying car to robot, which kind of gave me some Mask vibes a little bit. Very cool looking, well armed, and he's a Corvette. So I've always kind of liked Corvettes. I got to drive a limited edition Malcolm Connor Corvette some years back, and it was nice, though you practically need to lay down to get in it. But he's a cool looking sports car, and just, I enjoyed his character on the show, and I enjoyed his ability to become a flying car. And I actually thought the flying car from the toy was kind of cooler looking than the one on the show. Though I do have the masterpiece, and that's cool too. Posability-wise, his legs don't move, but they are two separate legs. There's nothing holding them together. The arms, you could bend at the elbow, and you could kind of move them to the side, but can't turn the head. Again, and back in those days, we needed to use our imagination. And every time I look into a monitor prime. Anyway, I've always liked Tracks, even though he sounds like a young Thurston Howell. So, my original Tracks, this is one that I bought. This is actually a reissue Tracks, but they did not make any changes to this guy. But my original Tracks, I actually glued in the missiles, so they wouldn't come out. These are not glued in, but they don't really come out that easily either. Which means it's a reissue. The original they did actually launch, which is why I glued him in the first place. Now his stunning auto mode is there for you to see. This is like a showroom floor type model. Pretty cool. I love the flames on his hood. I actually also know the voice actor who also does Cosmos, and he's a cool guy. But yeah, it's a very cool looking Corvette. Rolls like a dream, and he's such a nice looking car. But wait, there's more, because he does become a flying car. Putting him in this mode, I think is really, really cool. And he could fly and face some of the Decepticons on their own territory. Now with the G1 toy, in the cartoon at one point he had a little nozzle come out the front and he shot his black beam gun out of there. And that was something that they basically kind of replicated for the masterpiece. But with this one, there's a little area here on the bottom and you can attach his gun while he's flying and he can shoot out the bottom. Just in case you weren't aware of that and you happen to own a G1 Tracks, when he's flying around, he can shoot out of his ass. Now he can shoot out from underneath by having the black beam gun there. Can't really balance him on it that well, so. And I'm sure some of those stands nowadays might have something that can stick in the bottom so you can actually pose him in flight. But there it is, Tracks, my number one, my favorite character of the G1 Autobots. Now, I'm not dissing the other characters. I mean, there's a lot of characters that I like, but even though it was very, very tough, I did narrow it down to these 5. And there you have it. And again, let me know what your favorites are from the G1 Autobot line, because you gotta know I'm gonna do my top 5 from the G1 Decepticon line, and so on and so on. Let me know what you think, and I really, really hope you enjoyed this video while you're mulling these guys over. And I will put links in the description to, well, it'll be the counterfeit set of Superion, but you know, versions of these guys online that you can get, either G1 or in some cases you can get reissues or even counterfeits. But I'll put the links below, and while you're mulling over my top 5 choices, you can check out this video over here, which is about another cool G1 Autobot named Jetfire. What happened to him? We may never know. See you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.